Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Frostpunk 2! We just finished playing through the campaign for the first time on the channel, playing on the side of the stalwarts and defeating the Frost, and we had a lot of fun with that, and I want to jump back into the game. Now, I did set up a poll on YouTube asking my community, would you like me to try the story again, but at maximum difficulty with the opposite choices from the last run and see what kind of alternative endings exist, or should I jump directly into the Utopia Builder, again at maximum difficulty? And I was actually sort of expecting this one to win, but by a wide margin, it seems that people really want to see the story again and see what kind of alternative branching paths exist. So, okay, the council has spoken, who am I to say no? So we're going to start up a new run. I do have to choose the prologue here just to make sure that we set everything properly up at the captain difficulty and optimize our choices. But at this difficulty, this basically means that our economy is going to be atrocious, people produce less and consume more, the weather is going to be harsher and colder than before, the Frostland produces less, and our politics will be more volatile than they were last time. And they were pretty volatile. So we have really no margin for error whatsoever on this series. Which is hilarious, because I'm probably still going to make mistakes, but finding ways to survive those is going to be half the challenge. Let's get started. Okay, now for the prologue, I think I'm going to be mostly skipping through this in this first video. I don't think there's much more to optimize from what I did last time. Though, honestly, this is going to be a very interesting challenge to see if maybe the economy laws are so harsh that what was a pretty flawless strategy last time actually doesn't even work here. We're going to find out. And now we get to choose our mysterious symbol. Last time, obviously, I went for the stalwarts. This time around, we are going to go for faith. It's actually the main reason I needed to play the prologue again, to make sure that I controlled that. And one thing I'm going to do that's a little different than last time is I'm going to intentionally go through to some of these buildings and make sure we pull back on how much we are producing. That's going to let me have more control of my workforce and make sure I'm not consuming too many more materials than necessary. There's no stockpiling of oil in this case. Why be at full capacity if I don't need it? Oh, and we actually do need to get a second stockpile of materials to run this many districts. See, we didn't need to do that at the lower levels. So this in and of itself is already proof that, yeah, the difficulty increase actually is messing with my economy. And there we go. We have enough food. All right. And here comes the whiteout. Boom. Hey, look at that. We actually did make it through the prologue on Captain Difficulty without having to resort to extremes. Can we do that for the rest of the game? Probably not, but I'm sure as heck gonna try. This brings me into Chapter 1. The captain is dead. Long live the steward. Alright, so we're immediately gonna pause because I've had a chance to play around with this and kind of think through some opening moves, and there's a lot we need to do pretty much right off the bat. The biggest thing that's gonna kill me, I think, is our lack of heat stamps. So the first thing I need to do, really, is go through and actually raise funds from everybody, and this is going to put my trust in a really, really bad spot. But I need the extra funding, or else I'm simply not going to survive by the time that the first temperature drop actually hits. A couple things we need to think about, of course, are going to be getting some housing very early on, and of course I need to make use of these warm areas here. You need to have at least 3 touching in here, so what we could do is something like this. Well, I'm kind of wondering if there's a way to kind of hook this around in a way that it actually is super efficient. You can only ever get 2 housing districts for each of these little crevasses. That is going to get the maximum heat value. But if I can build these correctly, I think that I should be able to have pretty much no heat requirement, at least for the first 40 weeks of the game. This is where I really wish that I had, like, a district and hub planner available in this game. I need to check to see if that is a mod that somebody has created, because that actually would be pretty substantial. But yeah, the thought is do something like this. Now I'm generating 60 extra heat. Then the question is, how do I build the rest of this in a way that a third district could fit in here, and I'd have nothing to worry about? Like, I need to leave this tile open, for example, so that once these are filled in with the district, I've still got enough space for 3 tiles in a third district to mate up here. But it has to wrap around in such a way that it still connects here. And if I can leave the center, like this spot, open for a hub, then I can hit everything with 1 hub, right? These are the kinds of planning and stuff you have to do in Captain Difficulty that I feel like are really hard to do. A tool would really make my life easier, for sure. Anyway, before I spend the rest of my heat stamps, let's make sure that we do get over here. I need to make sure that we get ourselves the coal. So we'll frost break that with the expectation I'll build there soon. We also are going to desperately need prefabs in this game, because prefabs are going to be hard for us to come by for at least a while, and having an extra 1,200 and 800 or so. So that's 2,000 prefabs plus the 2,100 I have left already. That's it. That is all we are going to be getting on our starting map, which means I need to get an industrial zone early, not just to meet good demands, so I don't have as much crime and I produce more heat stamps, but also I'm going to need to find ways to get these prefabs up and running with some factories. So that means I need to get myself some materials. So probably an extraction district over here, an extraction district here, maybe industrial in between. Definitely get the prefabs up and running. I need at least 2 more housing districts. I could probably place them over here. Yeah, and I don't think I'm going to worry about food for a little bit. Food is the only thing I've already got in my stockpile. So surprisingly, I'm going to leave that alone for a little bit longer. Let's think about an industrial zone. If I did 1, 2, 3 like this, and I could find a way to maybe get some extra... Oh gosh, again, the planning tool. I mean, I'm going to build like this for sure. So if I could have something that kind of hooks in here... and here, this actually would get the maximum heat value as well. So we'll frost break out a pattern kind of like this. I think I'm going to end up having like 2 extraction districts eventually kind of overlapping. So one that goes lengthwise this way, another goes down this way. Room for hubs in the middle if I want them. And we'll see. I don't know. We will see. We also need to work our way out to this logistics point. That is not optional. So what is the fastest path there? Probably something like this. Yeah, we literally can't make it in one frost break, which is unfortunate. So we're going to have to do this again. So the sooner we get this going, the better, because then I'll be able to frost break some more local areas. We need to have some exploration, because the early coal generation we're going to get from the outpost is probably the most efficient form of coal generation we will have in the entire game. So we've got to pick that up. Non-negotiable. This is not going to be enough housing, by the way, is it? I don't think it is. I could build another housing district. We were already planning on something kind of like this. So this gets me 80 more heat. Not bad. And then place a hub right here. This should reach, I think, all 3 districts if we want it to. No, actually, I don't think that's necessarily true. This might be just shy. May only have 2 out of the 3 here. Okay. Well, it is what it is at this point. Dang. And then we'll actually need to expand a district too, won't I? I sure will. That won't be enough. We're only getting 20 housing out of each of these districts. Okay. All right, it's fine, it's fine. The opening moves are probably the most important thing in this game, to be honest. We really have no time, no margin for error. I will be pausing very frequently to take as much advantage out of this as I can. We'll get the 3 deposits of coal over this way. We'll build the extraction district like this. Okay, maybe I'm second-guessing that a little bit. I could expand out here and grab these 3 deposits really easily, though. That kind of messes up what I had planned around some of this. Let's see. We could do this. Well, I kind of already committed a little bit, and I wish I had frost broken this now. That was a goof. But it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Yeah, let's just do something like this for the moment. We can still expand and grab 2 more deposits if I need it. And then let's grab that industrial district. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's another 80 heat there. Like, I'm being as efficient as I freaking can for these first 40 weeks. We should also have enough heat stamps. I can go ahead and work my way out here toward the extra prefabs, and I need those. And let's make sure we do clear out this logistics bay area. I want to have enough room to not only build it, but also do a quick expansion, because all the extra Frostland teams are going to be very important. We're building a lot for a people that has literally no heat in minus 20 degrees Celsius. Jeez. All right, looking good. We can do an expansion. I do need to get myself some research. We know that. Question is, what is the most efficient place to expand? Maybe something kind of like this. I don't know. I'm really trying to use Big Brain here, but I feel like Big Brain is failing me in a big way. Let's get that logistics district up and running immediately. Coal still isn't active, and this is how much we've built before we've even gotten to that point. And I've been pausing. Like, it's not like I've been going slow here. But all right, there's the coal we were looking for. Generator on. Okay, now we have to choose a solution to some stuff. Can we go ahead and just build the council hub? Actually, was I able to build that immediately? If I was able to build that immediately, I'm going to feel really dumb, because we could have activated a law 7 weeks earlier. Or at least, maybe not, yeah, it's about 7 weeks earlier by the time this finishes up. I actually feel like, believe it or not, I need to restart. so I can get that. I think those 7 weeks could make a difference. Maybe that's stupid, but I actually think that's true. Yeah, actually, I am going to do that. I know that feels ridiculous, but we're on Captain difficulty. No margin for error. That feels like a very easily corrected mistake. Sure enough, this is immediately available. Okay, let's go ahead and place it. What if we try building a housing district kind of like this? Right? By building it like this, I actually still get the full heat value, and I've left a perfect little spot here in the middle. That seems pretty good. There might be some sneaky things you can do about, like, trying to build, like, let's say in a series of straight lines, kind of like this, and then layer them staggered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, and kind of keep snaking them around with, like, maybe leaving some space for hubs in between. There might be some sneaky strategies like that. I haven't done an absolute ton of research to see what the community has come up with. Kind of wish that I had, because it'd be very interesting, but I also don't want this to be, like, too easy, find ways to exploit the game. Now, one thing that would be interesting is if I could find a way to work my way in here. This stable crevasse, or a crevice, however you want to say it, I don't really care. 10 shelter and 20 extra heat for building in here. This could solve a lot of early game housing problems. It'd be kind of expensive to reach, but we're only 1 frost break away. Well, probably more than that, to be honest. Because we would have to probably break these areas up here along the sides in order to actually have enough space to make this efficient. So 2 frost breaks away. Still, there's some serious promise in that, I think. Okay, we do have our first round of laws. So this happened pretty early on, and apparently, based on how we handled the coal crisis, which has yet to be resolved, that's going to determine what happens here. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I'm being a little bit preemptive, I guess, in my voting. We'll negotiate. Of course we will. And the New Londoners might be the easiest ones. What can we do here? Fund their project? No. Chemical additives? We could. Mass-produced goods? Absolutely not. Durable goods are the superior option at the beginning of the game. Fund projects? Condemn. Forge additives? I actually kind of feel like this might be the better food solution. I could be wrong on that. Yeah. I guess I am probably going to go down this direction anyway. It is always worth promising things to people. I think you get a larger opinion boost if you fulfill a promise, rather than just researching the thing for free. Like, before I research forge additives, I want them to actually ask me for it, because if they do that, I just get more value. That's kind of the idea here. Okay, so I've got my industrial district, I've got my extraction, I am working my way out to the logistics, my housing is almost done. Yeah, I think we're on top of everything this time. Get the logistics up and running. Where could I do an expansion in a district that would make sense? I'll come back to that in a minute. I'm going to frost break an area over there. That might be an unnecessary purchase, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I think it's the right way to go to make some more long-term space that work around hubs. All right, so we actually do have a few things. Let's go to our industrial district. I want to set this to goods. Doesn't solve the problem, but it helps, and anything that gets me more heat stamps right now is crucial to my survival. The coal is up and running, by the way. Okay, now we will turn back on the generator. Sorry, I know we're redoing a few things here. It's just like, this is really important to get right. It's Captain difficulty. We really can't afford to screw this up. Make sure we get that Research Institute placed immediately. I'd like to get a second one, but I think that's a trap, because that's going to cost me more heat stamps than I can afford. By the way, we've gone from 6 up to 8 income for our heat stamps. This is why I went down the route of getting the goods. Now, the game tells me that I need to go for coal mines. Right now, we have enough coal to be okay, at least until we get to the first cold season, because I have so much heat protection from all of the placement of my districts. I feel pretty good about this. So I'm actually going to ignore that and focus on getting other things we need, like materials, food, and goods. But well before we get to week 40, that's when I have to get the coal mine. Also, we do have our logistics district. Good. Okay, I didn't want to jump out here. I'm not worried about getting the population right now. That sounds great, but it's a trap. Because if I'm going for an opposite choices build from what I did last time, that means we're not going down the Faith Keepers. And the Faith Keepers are all about having that progress, equality, and tradition. Odds are very strong now that I'm going to be going for adaptation. So bringing in a bunch of New Londoners is far less attractive to me than bringing in the Frostlanders. By the way, we want to immediately expand this, because I want to have another set of Frostland teams so I can start exploring a second region. Oh, right. I wanted to get another extraction district over here immediately so that we can get myself some prefabs, taking advantage of heat since this is a very temporary district. Make sure that we keep our heat consumption as low as possible. Lily May hath been born. Oh, Lily May, I wonder how your future will turn out this time. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the overdrive temporarily, by the way. Anything that... Oh, interesting. This does not actually save me any coal. Really? Okay, I was expecting it to. It says it should. 110... This is just not updating? 74 coal? There we go. Okay, I was going to say, it should be working. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that temporarily. If it's off at any point, we're just wasting fuel. We might as well stockpile a tiny bit more than we were before. Okay, we have our first round of ideas. Now, they want me to go for the coal mine. I'm not doing that. We have a few options. Going for housing insulation is tempting, but we're actually fine on heat right now, which is weird. So I'm not going to do that. Going for sawmills is highly tempting. Hothouses, I'm going to hold off for a little bit longer, but we don't want to sit off this for too long. This might be the second thing I get. I need to get factories. I think going for the salvaging factory at the beginning of the game might be a pretty good option for us, but, I mean, you could go down mechanical. I don't really think that I can afford the extra material cost at this point. Not to mention the extra heat. Like, I need to make sure my heat is as low as possible. We have an advantage in that one district is all I need for my coal. The moment I start ramping up my heat too fast, this becomes an issue. So adaptation makes sense here. I do think I'm going to go down a salvaging factory route, but we don't need that yet. I need materials first. So let's go to sawmills. Now, well, hang on though. The heat demand would be nice. 60 heat demand is way too much. So I'm tempted to go for untreated. Let me think. Because with this thing running, I'm only making 33 extra coal right now. One thing I do not remember, though, if I were to place, let's see. Yeah, so right now we have 0 heat demand here. If I were to place a mechanized sawmill, it would increase my heat. That'd be 60 extra coal demand, correct? By which point, I would need to get myself a second coal district, which is expensive, and I have no workforce to work with. I just realized that means that I literally can't build anything else right now. Well, that sucks. But... yeah, can I get a second extraction district, or do I actually need to go directly for the coal mine? Because I don't have enough stockpile to survive that. Because here's the thing, remember that your extraction districts also demand materials. So if I get myself another extraction district for coal, I'm gonna need more materials, right? And if I go down the untreated sawmill, how much do I get? 170. That is enough to meet my existing demand, but not enough to build another extraction district. Whereas, if I were to research, let's say, the mechanized version, yes, it costs me more heat, but it produces enough that I could get another extraction district. That said, also, I already have some stockpile. It's not a much, but it's a little bit. I feel like I'm going to go for the untreated sawmill and hope that this is the right call. I might be wrong on that, but we're going to give it a go. This is the kind of stuff that just messes with my head here on Captain Difficulty. We have to be so meticulous about every single choice in the game right now. How much food do we have? Enough to last 27 weeks? Enough materials to last 51 weeks. Maybe I should have gone for the hothouse first. Yeah, but I actually can't do that because I don't have enough workforce to build myself a food district right now. So that's not even an option. Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, we at least have the extra Frostland teams. Let's immediately go look in the Frozen Bay. What I want to do is find the fishing village. That will get me an extra 100 food per week, or whatever it is, which should be enough to set this back a lot. We'll probably go back down to like 50 weeks or so before we run out of food. So, yeah, coal and food, the two things we need to go for expeditions immediately. About to have our first round of ideas here. So, let's go here and... we did make promises about food additives, and I will probably want to do that. But I don't need it now. Goods, I will want, but there is something else I need that's more important. Forget rule, we're going to ignore that for the moment. We care about, I think, paid essentials. Yeah, heat stamps income per capita is increased. I need this. Very badly, I need this. New Londoners are open to this. Let's see, hold a law, machine-centric, build a mechanical factory, build a blasting coal mine. I guess this is fine. I need to do this eventually anyway. So, sure. I could have done the other kind of mine, but if this is what it takes to actually get me the vote that I need to get the extra heat stamps, it's worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, coal is short-lived anyway. So does it really matter which one I pick up? Probably not. What does matter is the fact that I have, like, no workforce. That matters a lot. Also, what happened to my workforce that I now apparently don't have enough people to work this housing district and I have a negative? Huh? Why? I don't know, and that feels really weird, but okay. Would it be worth doing the faster research? Yes. Oh my god, that nearly murders my trust. We are in so much trouble right now, but this gets my stuff up and running a lot faster. Though, again, without the workforce, how helpful is that really? I don't know, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. If I can survive Chapter 1 and 2, I honestly feel like we can find our way to beat this on Captain Difficulty no matter what. I do think that. That might be arrogance on my part, but I really feel like surviving Chapters 1 and 2 is gonna be the hardest part. If we can do that, we'll be okay. The temperature's gonna drop twice before it gets warmer. Ouch. Okay, we've got that. Do I go for the hothouses, or do I go for the factories? Well, I have to pass forged additives, which means I have to go for bio-waste. That's what's going to get me the synergy effect. I'm pretty sure if we went for the chemical additives and then we go for chemical hothouses, there's also a synergy effect. But if we have to get forged, and I did promise that, then this is kind of my only option. So, okay. Let's just go ahead and research that, get that done, taken care of. I know I'm going to need it. When do we get our next boost in population? That's got to be coming up soonish, right? Because if I don't get more people, we're dead. I just realized I regret going for the untreated sawmill. I could have gone mechanized. You know why? If my scouting goes correctly, and it will be done very soon, I'm about to get a huge influx of coal. We could have survived that and gotten the extra materials. Gosh, do I restart again? Am I insane? I think we do. I think we do, because I need to save as much workforce as possible. Oh my gosh, this is insane. So let's change this up. We're going to go to the sawmills. I'm going to go for the mechanized sawmills. Might as well do this on behalf of the New Londoners. We're going to bite the bullet and rush the researchers. Oh god, trust is so bad right now. Start scouting the second area. Pass our first law. Basic necessities, paid essentials, negotiate, New Londoners. Blasting coal mine it is. One of these days, by the way, I need to do Utopia mode and actually play with the Technocrats as one of the parties in the game. I'm actually in the game, believe it or not. I am in the game. If you look around and you click on all the different council members, you'll actually learn a little bit about the different characters and stuff like that, which is kind of funny. And I'm one of them. So if you guys find me, shoot me a screenshot. I'd love to see that. Such a relief to have you back on. O holy generator, provider and sustainer, our light, our heart, our shining beacon, hear our prayer. Make us instruments of your light, that we might fill the hearts of our flock with your radiance, and forever fight against the cold of the frost. May you forever warm our path. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about literal idol worship, there you go. What would it take in terms of workforce for me to get the materials? 300? So if I actually tune down my prefab production here, since I think I'm doing okay on that at the moment, we can go ahead and get the mechanized sawmill up and running. This will temporarily solve my materials issue. And if I need to, again, I can just pull back on workers here a little bit. Now, the problem, honestly, with a lot of these districts, so I've learned hubs in this game do not work nearly as efficiently as you think they would. You would love to think that getting, let's say, a rail hub or a heating hub or something like that makes these buildings more efficient. It doesn't. Weirdly enough, if you want to get a heating hub or a work reduction hub or something like that, it only affects the district requirements itself. That is it. So the fact that I am increasing the workforce requirement by another 300, I would be able to reduce this by, what is it, 10%? That would save me 60 workers, not 90 workers. Same thing is true with the heat. Adding on a heating hub does not reduce the heating requirements of the building, only the district, right? So hubs, I think, in this game are just generally not as good as I originally assumed they would be. To me, it just made sense what they were going to do, but apparently I am wrong. They are not nearly as useful as I thought. Doesn't mean that they're pointless. It just means we can actually not stress about them quite as much. Anyway, all right, materials-wise, we're looking really good here. If I pull back, this does reduce my heating demand. So I can do this to save on a little bit of coal and some workforce, and I'm still in a surplus. Okay. We can do another law. I have how long to do forge additives? 19 weeks? I think I can maybe do one more law here. If I did city development effort, this would get me some extra prefabs, and considering prefabs are going to be very difficult to come by, this is actually not bad. There's also service exemptions for more heat stamps, which I want badly. Can I find a way to negotiate? I can't. I have too many promises already made. Shoot. All right. Tell you what. We can go ahead and do the forged additives, I suppose. This is promised, so we're going to have to give this a go. Basically, I hamstrung myself a little bit because we don't have quite enough. Oh, that was close. Okay, we don't have enough space for promises to pass the things I want to. The promise I already made for this one kind of sucked, but there we go. Trust rises a smidge. That helps. We'll start producing a teeny little bit of food. It's very, very little, but it will work later. Don't worry. We're almost at the point where I'm going to start getting the extra coal production. This is going to be huge. Cutthroat economy, paid essentials, reduce heat stamps, or it just doesn't affect any. I need to look up what this does. What is the impact of not changing the heat stamp law? I can't find anything on it. Oh, gosh, the internet doesn't have enough information yet. I hate losing heat stamps, but I'm kind of wondering if we should do this. I'll bet you it does something good later. That's how these 11-bit games usually work. All right, we're gonna try it. Let's do it. Allowances for the unemployed. Ugh. That did cost me 1 heat stamp per week. That might have been a crucial mistake. I don't know yet. All right, we are about to get some exploration done. That's 10 Frostland teams remaining. Let's go to the coal mine. We are not going to take the prefabs because then it will take us even more Frostland teams to work this. I would rather do something here. So let's take less Frostland teams. This is probably the most manpower efficient way of getting coal in the game. We do need to connect up some trails, which is why I chose to build my logistics over in this direction. It's just a no-brainer. So this is fine. And then once that's built, our heating problems will be solved for a while. What else do we have over here? Right, we could dismantle a wreck for a couple of cores, and then we have an old observatory. This would be a way of getting some of those extra Frostlanders I need. Some more people? Yeah. Yeah, the extra people could be good. We may want to do that. Then again, if I do, are we going to have enough heat and enough food to go around? Also, we're not going to have enough goods. Then crime's going to be an issue. Oh boy. So there's bio-waste. I know I need to get the factories. How are we doing on coal right now? 26. If I turn off the heat generator, because it's already at 64%, this drops me down to minus 26. I've got enough to last for 34 weeks. Then this is going to go up by plus 250. Heat demand is going to go up in about 10 weeks. I think we're actually okay at the moment, so I can afford not to go for the coal mine. So let's go to factories. I do want to get the salvaging factory. I think this is going to be the better way to go, even though the workforce requirements kind of suck. But the extra goods are going to solve so many problems. The faster we get this up and running, the better. Then I can get max heat stamp income, and it doesn't matter that I have basically unemployment benefits, right? Probably? I don't know. I'm just trying here, all right? I don't know what I'm doing for sure. We're not bringing in the New Londoners here right now. I can do that if I'm in an emergency situation, but that does make my politics worse. There's the fishing village. I know I need this. And then there's also the others, which means we need to get some fuel. Right, this basically is... Yeah, okay, sorry. I thought maybe this was saying we need to get some oil in order to do anything. This is telling me I'm on the right track to find the oil. We'll come back to that. Let's go ahead and immediately take in these Frostlanders because I want the people, and I know that I want to harvest. We'll do this. Once people arrive, I'll grab the steam cores. Then we need to figure out what else to do. It takes 10 people to get over to the desolate coast. Okay. I'll be honest, by the way, I just zoomed in here, and I could have sworn this was a shipwreck for a moment. I'm like, look, there's the mast, there's the bow, and everything else. No, that's not what it is. But from a distance, this looked like a freaking wrecked ship on the edge of the crater. I was very confused for a brief moment. Hey, look at this. We now have 108 weeks of food stockpiling. Good. We're okay. We're doing fine. And our coal is stockpiling beautifully. Okay, all right. So the only thing I really am missing right now is just the goods. That is it. Just the goods, and we're in a better spot. And heat stamps, of course. More heat stamps. You know, I just realized, by the way, I should not have started working on the salvaging factory as a research yet. I should have first gone to the Frostlanders and asked if they would have a promise to do that. Because then I could have gotten the exact same result with more benefit. I need to make a habit of doing that. Before I research something, I should always check to see if something I already wanted is an option here. By the way, our food needs just plummeted because we got extra people. Okay, so I know that I need to get myself that extra round of food. That is one of the reasons I got the hothouse. So it's fine. It's fine. I'm not worried yet. We're going to go ahead and build this right here. And that should get as much food as I can get, and we'll place down the hothouse. I need more housing. Crap. I need to get 2 more districts. Even more crap. I don't have enough heat stamps. I don't have enough heat stamps for this. See, already, if I had 10 heat stamps per week, I could have started building one right now. That's a whole extra week of people being cold. No! It sucks! Everything's terrible! I need to get those dang paid essentials. Or whatever it was. Hold on. Communities, no, sorry, service exemptions. Heat stamp per capita. What can I negotiate? What would work? Frostlanders, what do you want? Build a silica factory, grant an agenda, durable goods. Yes! I need this. I already need this. 100% I'm doing this. Why? Well, if we take a look here, I'm going to go ahead and vote on this and just pass it. Durable goods is going to reduce how many goods you need. Mass-produced goods increases how many you produce. Mass-produced goods are going to be better in the long run. But at the beginning of the game, it makes way more sense to get the durable goods. So this increases my heat stamps back up to 10 per week. Okay, a little bit better. Moderately better. Taking 10 frost teams in order to get these mines up and running, by the way, is a problem. Wish it was 5. In order to actually explore the desolate coast, I'm going to have to temporarily turn off the fishing village. I'll do that, but only now that I'm going to be getting myself a bio-waste hothouse. Let me get some more housing first, and then we will do that. Is it time to get the coal mine up and running? I don't have enough heat stamps, so no. The temperature's about to drop precipitously. I think we're about to burn through all of our coal. Uh-oh. I need the heat stamps to start working on the mines, but I need the heat stamps to get some housing. Oh, God. Right now we are at minor cold. I don't think people are likely to die from that yet. And it's about to diminish a little bit. I think we have to go for the coal first. And go ahead and start plugging through those events, which means I need 50 heat stamps right about now. Good. I wish I could raise some more funds right about now. That would be nice. But all right, coal mines. We said we were going to do a blasting coal mine to fulfill a goal. So let's do it. And I am going to have to temporarily turn off this in order to then unlock the desolate coast so we can find the oil as fast as possible. I know I'm running out of food. I've got 10 weeks left. I need to get that bio-waste hothouse seriously. And here comes the heat demand. Okay. But you know what? We're still in the positive. Okay, that's actually great. Maybe I could have gone for the housing instead. Let's see, when one door closes... Okay, so I'm going to be going for opposite choices, which means I'm embracing the frost, which means we're going to antagonize the Faith Keepers. So I'm probably going to make the subgroup of Frostlanders happier. That's going to be, I think it's the Evolvers? Or I could just not interfere. I'm going to do this. It's going to make a lot of people upset. Very upset, actually. Way worse than I thought it was. Woo! Alright, but a new faction is appearing in just a little bit. Trust is low. Yeah, I know. I know. Oh, God, it's down to 0. What? Whoa! Wait a minute. Hey! Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now! Alright, I will grant an agenda. There we go. I stay in the game a little longer. That's not what I wanted to do, but it's what we've got. If I do not build the bio-waste hothouse next, by the way, we are going to run out of food. Guaranteed to do. Oh, God. All right. What are you guys voting on? City development effort. Not what I wanted, but I mean, it's okay, actually. But I don't want to lose my paid essentials, so I don't really have a choice. We're going to see if it passes. It probably will. It did. All right. It's not the end of the world. We lose some heat stamp income, but I do gain some prefab income, and that is still valuable. That's an extra, like, 5. So it's like a 20% increase in my prefabs. We do need to get rid of that again at some point, but for now, this just saved the game. Okay, that is enough prefabs to build my bio-waste hothouse. Build it immediately. We have 2 weeks left of food. I still need more housing. We're doing okay on materials. I need to get a factory down, and we are really on our way to finding the oil. And with the temperature dropping soon, the faster I get that oil up and running, probably the better. Okay, we're gonna end this video here. A very frantic beginning to the game. Not surprising. It is Captain Difficulty. But we're okay so far. It's really just the heat stamps that are murdering me. And in 3 weeks, I can ask for everyone to raise funds again. So, very soon, I'm going to get a huge influx of cash, but we're going to be skirting death. I really wonder if maybe going for the research was a huge mistake. because that may have cost me too much trust, but we're gonna find out. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you're looking forward to this far more challenging run of Frostpunk 2, and don't you worry, once we start getting to different events, I will make sure you guys see the story. So we will focus on the story, but of course we're also focusing on the challenge. Hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.